what about a buy sell? Yeah, we know so many dealers that are buying and selling their dealerships, and it's just that time. And what if you, as a dealership that was ready to, or if you were ready to sell your dealership and you were like, not only am I selling you this great dealership, but I have all of this data as well. And what if that was included in?
Jeez.
And then imagine that. And that's like a whole involvement with the buy sell as well. And then the new dealer that buys gets all the data, and then they can share that with their marketing agency. And then the marketing starts fresh. And right away you have a campaign that says, hey, we're under new ownership, and it's all people that have already bought. And imagine these concepts, like imagine that, but like that could really be where we go, honestly, is that data is part of the buy sell.
Welcome into Facts, Not Feelings. I am your host, Brooke Furniss. And today, I'm so excited today. We are talking to the one and only Denise. Boss Babe. Let's start with Boss Babe as your first title, but she's also president and CEO of PCG and the brains behind the first agency with the new framework to never start from zero ever again. And if you're a dealership out there, you probably that may have just struck a nerve with you because you're like, whoa. I don't have to start all the way over ever again. No, you do not. And stay tuned because we're going to discover how to revolutionize your marketing efforts and never start from zero again. And then additionally, we're going to talk about how to turn your data into an investment for success. Oh, Denise, I am so excited to talk to you today. But before we begin, I got to know, how did you discover and how to start with this new framework of never start from zero again? Because I know that you've talked about this prior to implementing this. I know that I've been screaming it from the rooftops. So what made you to start to actually implement this?
Awesome. Well, first off, let me say that I'm so excited to be here to be able to talk about this with you today because this is very up and coming for us, this whole new framework. So it started basically out of our own startup process at PCG, right? So when a client signs on with us, we have a very intricate startup process that is very important.
Yes, you do.
Full structure, of how the account works. We call it our team process, technology assessment and build. And as, we were always talking about TAB and we're always adding more into it, it realized, wow, we are really putting our clients into a huge position of success, not just when they work with us, but if they were to move on from us as well. And we even have a whole offboarding process too, because we understand things happen. A new general manager comes in and they say, we actually have worked with these people in the past. These things happen. It's okay. We can talk about it. It's not that big a deal, right? But we realize we want to be able to put everybody in a position for success. So by us doing this, while I was on maternity leave and the process, was continuing to always flourish as it does, the marketing team was brainstorming one day with Brian. And Brian was like, wow, it really seems like we're letting our dealers never start from zero. And then that's how it all came to be. And I came back from maternity leave and I was like, that's it in a nutshell. I love that. And then we've just kind of taken it, from there. The partners that we are integrating with or, vendors that we can integrate with for marketing, we're making sure that they align with the same vision of never start from zero again. And it's just snowballing.
I love it. And I will be the first to say, the first time when I was working at a dealership, we had you all. And it was You're going through every single piece of information. And one of the reasons we chose to go with PCG was the fact that, hey, you own your data. You own all of this. I know we're going to get into this. The one question I want to ask is talking about the overview of the kind of data that dealers need to be focused on and how to leverage that.
Mm-hmm. I am a huge advocate of dealers creating their own first-party data. And there's a couple of reasons why. And it stems from, when I was running advertising accounts for social media advertising back in the day, when I was leading that team and we were doing a lot of A/B testing on audiences, right? The audiences that Metis applied the data at the time. We were able to pull in audiences very easily into Oracle, into Facebook advertising. Anytime we were creating dealers, their own custom audiences based off of people that came to the website, actions on the website, page likes back then, it always did 10 times better because it was people that knew the dealership, that had already interacted with it, that understood the brand because they had already been through that journey. And that's when I kind of started the original journey of, hey, look, like it's more important for you to create your own first party data, right? So obviously now we move forward in life where there's so many other ways that we can help our dealers and our clients do that. But that's really where it originated from. And, audiences, as you know, customers, the buying cycle for a vehicle, it takes time. And a lot of the times you can really attract customers based off of your branding, your culture, but there has to be a funnel, right, approach. And so if you're accumulating all of this data, if you're branching off people, if you're serving them messages where they need to be, that's yours. And you have to nourish it and flourish it in that way.
Amen. And I think with that funnel is too often we get so focused on a certain part of the funnel and not realize there's other parts of the funnel. And how are we attacking those parts of the funnel instead of just zeroing on, I got to look at the low funnel. Well, those high funnel ones understand that that's still a customer. They're just further out in their buying cycle. Right. And don't forget about that customer because that's still a customer. They're just further out.
Still a customer.
They both are. So how are you attacking that? So as we talk about this, never start from zero, that presents and provides a huge competitive advantage in today's marketplace. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. So in this whole concept of never start from zero, when a client signs on with PCG, we are making sure that you own your pixel within Facebook. We're making sure that you own your AdWords account. If you do not come to us with an AdWords account, we will create one for you. You get ownership of it. Analytics, we do have dealers come to us that every once in a while don't have a thriving analytics account or don't have access to it. We're going to set all of that up for success. As we're creating these audiences, whether it's in the Google Ads account or whether it's in, the Meta account, that's all yours. You own everything that goes with it. And if you were to leave us, you take it with you. Right now, as a company, we are able to integrate with the CDP Orby, and they follow the same model. They're very much in the aspect of, hey, look, you're going to own this data. You're going to keep it clean. It's going to be yours to have. And it's just super important. And it's also important for, the customer as well, right? Because if they know what's going on, they know that they don't know that audiences are being created, but they know that they're being targeted. I always love when I'm with people and they're like, hey, they're listening to me. And I'm like, well, it's not that they're listening. It's just, I was like, well, it depends on where you hear there. And I'm like, this isn't, we're just not going to go down this rabbit hole, but they know. So I think it kind of, by us as marketers really putting this into place, even at PCG, it protects the customers too, as well.
Amen. And as we're talking, I'm probably going to get an ad about Orby just because my phone is listening to me right now. So Orby, thank you. And you're welcome. So all of these things we talk about, there's a reason why personalization, there's a reason why Amazon's a $1 trillion company. Yes, their service is phenomenal. Yes, all of those things are true. But also they personalize the hell out of things. And that is one of the reasons why, is that I can go in and the minute I go in, it's like, hey, do you want this? Hey, you might like this. And all of those things to make the journey so much easier and so much seamless for me. So with that, it just, all of these things help that process and it's going to sell. I mean, I honestly, the stat I was just going to throw down, I think is like 2 years old. So I'm not going to, more or less is that you're losing billions of dollars if you don't personalize that journey for the consumer. And that stat is now is outdated because when I did this speech and this whatever, it was like 2 years ago. So I know that data is way higher than it is now. So what are some misconceptions? And I say this tongue in cheek because I'm talking to you thinking, oh, this is like softball to you. But I also know that there are so many, and I know that you deal with it, I deal with it, so many dealerships and so many businesses that don't know that they can own their own data. So what are some common misconceptions about data ownership, and how do you address this?
That's a great question. I think the data is always been looked at as kind of like a foreign substance for years. And when people hear the word data, they really don't know what it pertains to, right? And I don't know if you've watched Westworld by any chance on was it HBO?
Yeah, it's HBO, I believe.
I'm not sure. But the whole concept of Westworld was they were accumulating data. That was like the whole concept of Westworld in itself, was they had these huge labs filled with data. And when you see things like that, you're like, data, scary. Oh my gosh. Like what is, I was like, wow, this really makes it look like data is like this, thing. But the problem with that is that we are not putting a human to the data then, right? And I think by us doing this whole concept of never start from zero again, we're humanizing the concept of data, where it's, hey, call it data. They're your customers. These are your customers. You own them. You've worked with them. They've seen your advertisements. And I think by us, kind of putting that into place, then what's happening is, dealers are starting to realize how important it is for them to own their own tools as well. So that they then do own their customers. They have, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm like drawing a blank. They can nurture that in that way, right? I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say here. They have loyalty to them. They know that they're not being branched off to other dealerships.
Not soliciting them. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So I think that that's the point that we're really trying to get across is, yes, at PCG Digital, we're going to set you up for success. Long-term success. You'll never start from zero again with us, but also you need to understand that your customers are going to be in good hands as well if you follow this framework.
Amen. And I want to take that one step further is that,
yes.
So we talk about never start from zero again. And I want to make it really clear that I'm sure a lot of people know what we're talking about. For those dealerships that were like, wait, what are you saying? So are you saying when I switch agencies, I don't have to do this? So I wonder if you can expand on this a little bit more of the concept of switching, what this means from never starting from zero again, because you and I, we can talk about this all the time. And the points of, oh, wait, you're with so-and-so company. They won't let you own anything. They own the pixel. They own their Google ads, your Google Analytics. They own everything. You don't own anything. You have to start from zero again. I wonder if you expand on this and why this is so detrimental when you literally have to start from zero every single time you make a switch.
You're learning your audiences all over again, right? So, I think that this is still the same way that the stats go. It takes Facebook about 2 weeks to understand audiences in one campaign. We run our campaigns month to month for dealerships. Obviously at PCG now, we've done a great job of saying you need branding that runs quarterly, which I'm very happy to say that all of our clients do today. But you know how it is, Brooke. It takes a long time to understand audiences. The same thing on the Google ad side. These campaigns need a minute to grow and understand. It's a computer. It's looking at what people are looking at, who's looking at it. Okay, well, if this person over here likes this, maybe their neighbor over here would see that. Okay, not him. It's a whole intricate system. And every time you start from zero, you're starting that whole process over again. So as an agency is creating your own first-party data within an AdWords account that they own and within a Facebook pixel that they own, you're not taking any of that with you, and you're starting from zero every time. I'm here to make a very bold statement that if you are looking, here we go, that if you are looking to work with an agency that is saying, we're going to work out of our AdWords account, we're going to work out of our own Facebook account, I would be very cautious of that for the future and the success of your marketing.
Yes. And I will take that one step further to make I'm not going to say a bold say. This show is called Facts, Not Feelings, and based on facts and the number of times and the number of things I've looked at, is you don't have visibility into so many different things. So you may feel that your ads are you feel that, hey, we're spending $5,000 in XYZ. You don't know that because you cannot see into that. So now when you say we're going to make a switch, or we're going to spend $5,000 again on XYZ. Well, why is it not? You cannot compare because you really don't know what you were spending. So there's so many things when you do not own and you don't have ownerships of all these different things, or, hey, well, they were using, and this was not one of the questions, so we're going to take a little bit of a curveball here. But the Facebook pixel, okay, you go in there and they're using their Facebook pixel, not yours. You don't own it. Now you got 7 Facebook pixels on your site.
And also then not compliant for iOS 14 either. That's a whole situation in itself. No. There's a lot of compliancy issues too. And that goes into data privacy and protection as well.
Yes. And I saw this is, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, and it may be longer than that, but something about that Facebook is now saying they're going to do away with pixels. Did you see this?
I did see that. Yeah. So I'm not going to comment too much because I'm not,
versed.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not as educated on that subject as of right yet. Talk to me in 2 weeks and maybe I'll, know more of what to say in that aspect. They would be doing themselves a disservice as a platform if they took that pixel away. Because the pixel is so important to people understanding their customers. And if we're going to talk about, a customer first world and a people first world, it kind of starts there, right? Having the messages be more tailored, and you're really able to do that through the pixel. So I guess we'll kind of see what happens there. But going back to what we were talking about real quick, Brooke, that I wanted to add in about people not owning their own AdWords, pixel, Facebook, not being able to look. A lot of the times it's, you have access to your Google Analytics, which is fine. But when we've got Brooke, that's the right one.
We're going to drive you drinking, Denise. What are you doing to me? Come on.
So here's the situation. If you're solely relying on your Google Analytics, and listen, Google Analytics paints a very nice picture and it tells a good story. And you're very involved in ASC, as am I, and we understand that. But you also need to look within Facebook at the results. And you also need to look within AdWords at the results and everything else that's pulling in there. Because what happens if something falls off? Or what happened,
or you have 7 pixels.
All apples to oranges. Exactly. Or you have 7 pixels. Exactly. It's all apples to oranges. You need to have access to everything. It's yours.
Yes. And if, 100% yes. And to take that one step further, we are in the land of GA4 now. So let's say you're trying to go back into look at July's data and you're going into, let's say you still have access to your UA property, the data is not flowing in there. So you can't even get that data, and you think that you can, and you feel that you can. It's not flowing in there. Eventually, that's just going to fall off. And GA4, as it stands right now, is just a toddler that's throwing tantrums. And every time I log in, I'm like, okay, that doesn't work. So it's going to take a while for that to calm down, just like UA did back 2010-ish, something like that.
Right.
So it's going to take a time for that to flow down and just calm down. That's the best way I can phrase it. And that's also why we don't know what's in this cup. So with all that, when it comes to Facebook, you really do need to be in Facebook to look at all those metrics. It is so key. So key.
Right.
And if you don't own your Facebook pixel, if you don't own your business manager, how the hell are you going to look at that stuff? How are you holding anybody accountable? The answer is you're not. You can't.
Exactly.
That's
and even when we talk about exactly, and even when we talk about a Facebook ad account, you cannot transfer ownership of an ad account, which is fine. But your vendor can download out the campaigns that you would then be able to have if you were to move on. Your vendor can easily download out the audiences, to a certain extent. There's ways that you can collect things and make sure that you know what's going on. There's always a way around everything. That's what I always say. If you're being told, well, that's not how this works, that can't happen. Come on. There's always a way around things. So, even with the never start from zero at PCG Digital, right? If somebody were to move on from us and leave us, obviously the pixel is the key. You own the pixel, but we can download out the ad And then you can just upload them right into a new ad account.
Yeah. And for those that are asking, wait, Brooke, how, if you're saying there's only, just dawned on me, for those that are asking, wait, I have one pixel, how does I have two agencies, I have an OEM, and everybody's asking, well, I got to have all these pixels on, I've got a third party provider, a third part, whatever. Everybody works off that one pixel. That's how it works, is that you own the pixel, and then everybody works off of that and says, okay, what events do we want to fire? So there are 8 events, and everybody has to work off that. So everybody comes together. I know it's a crazy concept that everyone's going to collaborate and come together, but that's how it is supposed to work. And this is not Brooke saying this, is not Denise saying this. This is Facebook, Meta. Meta has made the rules. We play by Meta's rules. And then you go in and say, okay, how are each of these performing? But everybody's got to come together. Otherwise, if you say, I'm going to have 17 pixels on my site,
you're going to have multiple events like firing within Facebook. That's just what's going to happen because the pixel is going to be firing multiple times and everybody's stats are going to be off and this is going to say one thing. And so it's a cleanup. It's a cleanup, but it's an easy cleanup. And that's what I'm here to say, that, when you work with PCG Digital, we're setting this all up for success and we're making it very easy and possible.
Yeah. All right. So I got to hear a hero story, a great success story of taking someone that says we're going to retain the never start from zero versus we're just going to transition and got to do the success story between the two.
Yep. So great. So it happens often. Like I said, it's nothing that we have to shy away from. People need to switch, whether it's a new general manager comes in and they're very loyal to another agency and they want to bring them on. It happens, So we recently, a couple months ago, a very good loyal client of ours needed to move on for co-op purposes. And we were able to be like, okay, you're going to walk away with everything. And we have a process when somebody offboards at the company. And it was a very easy process to transfer ownership of the pixel and transfer, ownership of the ad account, and you own your analytics, and let's make sure this looks nice first. And then they're walking away and they're saying, thank you so much. And we never burn a bridge at PCG, right? That's not what we like to do. We understand that, people do have to move on every once in a while. We would love all of our clients to stay with us for forever. Some of our clients have been with us for 15 years. I mean, that's, that's fantastic, but things happen. And that was a really good case where everybody walked away extremely happy.
I love it. And it's true. Like, this industry is so small. Never do everything possible to never burn a bridge. Never burn a bridge. Right. So when it comes to data ownership and translating that into a tangible value for our business and for our dealerships, how can it be linked back to ROI?
So let's bring up the conversation of CDPs.
Oh, perfect.
So I, am on this journey of really understanding CDPs. Obviously, I'm starting very heavily with Orby, which I have said PCG Digital can integrate with Orby today for marketing. And basically, what a CDP is going to do for you is it's going to, make your data not only readable, but clean, and you understand what your customers are doing more or less on your website. Can you repeat the question one more time, Brooke? Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. No worries. No worries at all. So as an owner, how does data ownership translate in
ROI,
tangible value for my business? Yeah, and then link that to ROI.
Perfect. So the CDP is going to help you do that, right? Because you're going to be able to see, okay, people that are coming to my website with the CDP, you can integrate in your CRM, your DMS, and turn it into that way. And that tells a beautiful story, right? If you do not have a CDP, you are able to then, with your data, understand, numbers that are coming in. But one of the things that you want to look at too, when it looks at data, is with any type of campaign, what are you telling the campaign to do? So your ROI is going to be measured in a couple different aspects. So like, for instance, if you are running a brand awareness campaign at Facebook, your ROI is going to be measured as brand estimated recall lift, right? And that's the ROI there. But for true ROI, what you want to make sure that your data is doing is the phone ringing, are conversations happening, are messages coming, and are lead forms obviously being filled out on the site. The other thing that you want to measure too when it comes to, clean data and ROI is you want to make sure that your lower funnel campaigns have the least amount of budget behind them, because those audiences are going to be a lot smaller. But again, if you really want to measure true ROI, I'm going to highly recommend integrating with a CDP, because the way that you can measure ROI in that aspect is unlike nothing that I've ever, really seen before. It's just fantastic. You can almost set up everything as if it's a full e-commerce website. Obviously we don't have a click to purchase button on our dealership websites, where it's, okay, add the car to the cart and that's that. And then it's like, oh, this campaign resulted in this amount of money. I mean, imagine working for like a full e-commerce site. Man. It's probably just like so interesting to see. We don't really have that in automotive. So you have to rely on these different tools in order to do that. But when it comes to measuring that would be my biggest, piece of advice is look at what you're telling the campaign to do and then take it from there with what the ROI and the KPIs are.
So there's like two parts of this, and my brain is going on this. Like, from a marketer standpoint, like there's so much you can do because now you have the first party data. But the second part of that is our industry is such, the CRM is garbage in, garbage out. And there's a lot of garbage, whether that's the CRM, whether that's the DMS, whatever it may be. So how can marketers take that and capitalize on it?
I would integrate with a CDP. So basically, all right. So I mean, before everything blows up, I would get on the CDP bandwagon. That's my biggest advice, because what you're able to see is really the shoppers that are coming to the website and the actions that they're taking, and you're able to create clean data. I understand that garbage flows through. I get that. We even have that, you even internally, you market your company. I market my company. There's always things where you're like, this doesn't make sense. How the heck did this get in here? But if you have a CDP and you have that people integrated properly, you really can take that data and clean up everything based off of what people are doing on the website, what they're looking at, how that's working. And it's just really cleaning up everything. It's an investment. It's going to take some time. But if this is, really a goal of yours, dealers who are listening, is to really own and clean up your data, I would highly suggest starting, with a CDP.
So, and I've got, we're doing a CDP show here in the next couple of weeks. So this is
cool.
There's so many different ways to take it and how you're going to integrate it. And also before you do this, also just think the process through before you do it. Is this something that we're just doing to, like any button? Are we just slapping a button on to suffice a problem, or what are we doing to make this better? I'll just leave that at that, because I think you know what I'm saying.
Exactly right, Brooke. Don't just do it to do it. What is the goal? Like, do you have problems owning your data right? Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to clean up your data? Okay. Don't just do things to do things, but exactly like you're saying, Brooke, have a process in place. Do you want to reach more customers? Do you want your marketing messages to be more intentional? That's the real reason why we're using a CDP at PCG right now. We want the marketing messages to be more intentional. We want people's feeds and their ads to be as tailored to them as possible, because the way that people operate and the way that they're shopping, we all know that nobody has a lot of time, even when they're doom scrolling, like you and I talked about. It's like, I just want to see what I want to see. And that's that, and you can really, with the CDP, say, okay, I've had, 200 people look at this white Chevy Equinox. What if I took these 200 people and gave them an email with all white Chevy Equinoxes in it, or a campaign with all white Chevy? It's very intentional marketing, serving the messages where people are in their journey. So if that's your goal, CDP, but just like Brooke said, to tailor it all back, make sure you have a process and make sure that it's something that, right now you are going to be intentional with.
Amen. So going on that a little bit more is discussing how CDPs, and then you got data ownership, you've got them both, and how they can then transform the way that we not only understand, but also interact with our customers, because it's both.
Right. Serving intentional messages. Definitely. Making sure that, years ago when I had wrote that concept of the automotive social media sales funnel, it was all about serving customers ads as to where they were in their journey, starting with, a wide net, bringing them down. Then it was, okay, hey, if we've got a sale on minivans, maybe I could, in the area, go after people that, have children and this and that. I love how they just assume that people with children want minivans also too. That's always like a big thing.
Makes sense.
My dad drives a minivan and he owned a bar. It was easier than a truck to have a minivan to slide things in and out. I mean, but who would know that, right? Anyway,
Yep.
It was always about serving those very tailored messages. So with your data, again, going back to that word intentional, you want to be intentional with your messaging, and you want to be intentional because, again, these are your customers and there should be loyalty to them, even in the marketing messages that you're sending them. There is nothing more annoying to me than when I get emails or letters in the mail that do not pertain to me from companies that I have bought from in the past, because I'm like, you're spamming me that.
Yep.
You know that I'm not in market to sell you back my car. Yep. You know I'm not. We've talked about this. You know who I am. You know what journey I'm on. Why are you wasting your time and my time?
Yep. Or you just bought from them and they're like, so was curious if you're still interested in the vehicle. Like, I literally just dropped $50,000 with you. Why are you asking if I'm still interested?
Even with the service, I get, and I always say this I buy from a dealership and I really like my dealer a lot. But when I get an email for, the service drive, I'm like, I just was there. Yes, don't mass email me. And he's like, oh, you know how it is, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to teach you to be better here. So we can be so much more intentional. You can be better. Like, these are data, put in names. These are customers,
They're not numbers.
customers. So it should be as intentional as possible, especially people that are loyal to you, because then they know, oh my gosh, it's so funny. Like, if my mother or somebody, they'll get a text from, the dealership and they're like, well, it's weird that I got this text because I just had my car service. And it's like, they're not really just texting you, but it's like, this is what's happening, So just be as intentional as possible.
It's so true. And you and I know what people in the business understand, but you take a normal,
right.
Well, not that we're normal, but you'll take an average human being that's not in the industry and they're like, the chances of them being so turned off by it and be like,
right,
screw this, why, stop it.
Right. And you can't mass market until somebody bites. Sorry, not to cut you off, but that's what happened is it's mass emails. It's mass. You can't keep doing this until just somebody bites and you sit there. And I think Brian years ago used to call it the spray and pray method, which I hate saying, but it's like, that's basically what it comes down to and what it is.
Yes, it is. And the amount of money that is spent on this, like, I had told the story previously, and I'm going to say it again because it's so applicable here. We moved in this house. God, I think it's been, I can't believe, I think it's been 4 years ago we moved in this house.
Wow.
No, nuts, right? And we are a family, we've like 3 or 4 generations of having Infinities. Well, we switched out of Infinities 3 years ago. I was the last one to have Infinity, my mother-in-law. She was at it 4 years ago. So the last person to have Infinity was me, but that was 3 years ago. And she was 4 years ago. Now she is getting, for the last, we're going to go on like 3 months now. Every month she's received a mailer from an Infinity store up here that's like 30 minutes from us, asking to come service her Infinity. Not where she shouldn't buy the Infinity there. She hasn't had Infinity for 3 months. So wherever they're buying this list, they're sending out these beautiful mailers to someone that hasn't had an Infinity in 3 months. And the last person to have an Infinity was me. I'm not getting it. She's 87. And she's had 2 Cadillacs since then. She's almost on her 3rd Cadillac. So I was just like, okay, you're spending a shit ton of money. And if you're marketing someone that hadn't had an Infinity in 3 years, how else are you hitting that hadn't had an Infinity? So I don't know if they're, like, it would be different if you're saying, hey, come service your Cadillac, but it's an Infinity. And why am I not getting it? Like, where are you choosing to market? Like, it's just a really weird tactic.
And then, and then you have the client who's the dealer who's being handed these reports. And it is like, okay, so like, look, we reached this amount of people and nothing adds up. By the way, love that she's a Cadillac driver. So am I.
But also, I saw the answers to the questions.
But yeah, and then you're getting these reports and it's like, what do these numbers even mean? And it's not just for print, it's the same thing for digital, right? Where it's, numbers. And it's like, it's not intentional marketing. It becomes almost, and I think I brought this up, vanity metrics.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Yeah. A lot of things become very, those are vanity metrics. Exactly. It's not telling a story. So,
I'm a little distracted by that one, but no, it just drives me bonkers. That same thing. I'm like, then someone is going and probably telling them, we reached this. I'm like, but that's bullshit numbers is what it is. Someone is selling you a bag of shit is what they're selling you. That's all it is. It drives me crazy. So I want to take this a step further, going back to the CDPs and integration, but taking that into this framework of never starting again, and that approach that we're going to streamline that transition between the marketing agencies. So you've got CDPs, you've got never starting from zero again, and the transitioning between the different marketing agencies. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So this is why we have chosen our first to integrate with is Orby, because they're extremely universal to agencies. So meaning, we can go in there, we can work, we can help our dealers understand the data, pull the data into the ad accounts. That's where we are today as an agency. And the one great thing about Orby is that if you were to leave them as well, as the data goes with you.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. Because again, if you're paying, you almost have to look at it like as a service type situation, right? Like if I go to get a manicure and I get my nails painted and I'm there and I get my nails painted. And then when I'm about to leave, they take the nail polish off because I'm leaving and it has to stay with them. It doesn't really make sense, right? So we kind of have to look at our services in that way too, in the vendor community, right? Well, if somebody's with us and they're purchasing us for our services, but then also that comes with the data, well, shouldn't the data leave with them?
Agreed.
So anyway, so that's kind of why, we've chosen to integrate with Orby, because they've been extremely, they're universal in that aspect. They're helping us just even more so expound upon the concept of never start from zero again. Because even if somebody were to sign on with us, it right now is like, I'm at zero. I don't own my analytics. I don't own my AdWords. I have no idea what the Facebook pixel is. We're saying, okay, not only is PCG going to tab it up, technology assessment and build your startup process, but if you integrate at the same time with Orby, we're going to accumulate and clean all together as well. So it's a beautiful marriage. It really is.
It is. And that is, as we talk about CDPs, we talk about these different, buzzword bingos we've hit on today. That is one question when you're looking at CDP, that question better be asked of the CDP is, if I leave at any point, does that data come with me? If the answer is no, better that you might want to rethink that, just saying, because it goes back to, well, isn't that my data? Right. Okay, then why don't I own it? Because there's a and as the CDP conversation continues to evolve, whether you have a hybrid mix of it, I'm going to have this one do this and this one do this and this, or I'm going to have all at one spot. Especially if you're putting all your eggs in one basket and they own it, and then you lose it all because you decide to make a switch, or a new owner comes in, or a new GM comes in, whatever it may be, you just lost everything, and now you are starting from zero again. And that's going to suck big time.
Exactly. And not even from a marketing standpoint. You know what I thought about the other day, Brooke, that I was like, when am I going to, unleash this thought on the world? But I'm going to do it on the Facts Not Feelings podcast. I'm ready for it. What about a buy sell? Yeah, we know so many dealers that are buying and selling their dealerships, and it's just that time. And what if you, as a dealership that was ready to, or if you were ready to sell your dealership and you were like, not only am I selling you this great dealership, but I have all of this data as well. And what if that was included in? Jeez. And then imagine that. And that's like a whole involvement with the buy sell as well. And then the new dealer that buys gets all the data, and then they can share that with their marketing agency. And then the marketing starts fresh. And right away you have a campaign that says, hey, we're under new ownership, and it's all people that have already bought. And imagine these concepts, like imagine that, but like that could really be where we go, honestly, is that data is part of the buy sell.
And I'm so that, my brain works. I'm like, what about this? What about this? So I'm curious on the buy sell, because my first thought was like PTSD from buy sells of like, I can't even get ownership of the Google business profile. Like I can't even get access to that. So I don't know, like on a buy sell, if it would be one of two things, either, hey, we own this data, so we're taking it with us and we're going to market our new customers. So it could be one of two ways. Like now, I don't know how the laws are written. If you can take that data with you, or it goes to the new, just like the DMS data. Like now you just get it if you continue to pay whatever. Like there's so many ways it could be taken, but we all know if you've been through a buy sell, the sleepless nights that come with it, as you trying to integrate everything, and it is a complete nightmare. How nice it would be to have everything.
Have everything, have an agency that helps you, along the way in that aspect. I mean, have the data right there. It's something to start thinking about, really. I thought about that the other day because we're helping a client out right now with a buy. Actually. And it's, they're very overwhelmed, of course, as you know, where it's like, well, what's this and how's this and where do I start here? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wouldn't it be just interesting if like in the future, this is just kind of how it is. And it just moves forward in that aspect.
Well, and I'll go one more step further on this, is that you have a CDP now. Okay. We've chosen a great CDP, and the ability to market and those marketing strategy and how effective they can be. So talk a little bit about that, and taking the data that you have and how a marketing director can now take that, and whether it's, hey, we're going to run ads on it, we're going to retarget, email marketing. Talk a little bit about that, how you can make those marketing decisions and make it more effectively with a CDP.
It's all about segmentation. So within the CDP, and I'm just speaking now solely about Orby because that's the one I'm most educated on and have worked out of, you can make segments, right? Kind of like we talked about before with the white Chevy Equinoxes. So basically you can segment as much as you want based off of what customers are doing on your website or what they're looking at. And then you can send them targeted messages. You can send them targeted emails. It's not so much anymore choosing every audience just because it's there. It's more or less very targeted in the aspect of, okay, I know that these, 300 people have looked at this specific vehicle.
Yes.
It's not like mass emailing anymore. It's not, you have to imagine a world, Brooke, and this has taken me a couple like sleepless nights to kind of figure out. You have to imagine a world, a Facebook ad account where there's 50 ads running.
Yes.
Instead of, the traditional 4, because it's smaller audiences and it's more intentional.
Yeah. It's such a difference. It's such a difference of having, okay, I've got my new, I've got my used, I've got my service, I have my evergreen.
Right.
Oh, wait, now I've got this model, this model, this model, this model. I've got not just my fixed ops, and I've got this fixed ops, you've got so many different things running. So when she says 50, it literally is, but it's segmented out. So I remember, once again, I was so overwhelmed that I just didn't have time to do this, but we were using Constant Contact at the time. Okay. And they're like, set up segmentation. I was like, yeah, that'd be great if I had time to do this, but I don't have time to do this. And because it didn't integrate with any automotive CRM, I was like, yeah, but by the time I do this, it's great. But so if they click on this, I would have loved to be able to set up that if they clicked on this campaign's going to run at this. I was like, I just don't have time to do this. But now you can do all this, and having PCG and having the Orby set up and having all that running and all this happening, it just gravy, man. It's great.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And you have to think, e-commerce companies are already doing this. Amazon, we talked about, right? Mm-hmm. Or I love, getting abandoned cart emails. And it's not because I'm abandoning the cart because I've changed my mind. It's because I'm doing things on my cell phone. I've got 20,000 things going on in the background. And then later on when I check my email, it's like, oh, I left those sunglasses in there. Oh, okay. But that's how the marketing is going to get. And we've never thought this way in automotive because it's very, you can look on the website, but you still have to kind of, go into the store and this or that. But we have to start to really look at ourselves as e-commerce marketers, even more than we ever did before. And we've come a long way. You and I both know that, but now it's going to get even more intentional and groovy.
Yes. Which then brings me into the next point of, from a privacy perspective, how is PCG ensuring that everything's being handled safely and correctly between the storage of data and then also integrating with your chosen CDP of choice of Orby?
Great question. So if you integrate with Orby, you are going to own the data. So number one, it's safe. It's yours. When we look at the way the audiences from Orby are pulled into Meta and AdWords, it's an instantaneous connection. Gone are the days when we used to have to download out a list, get it from you, goes through email, upload in the list. Now, let me tell you, we've all done that. And we at PCG are very intentional about that. When we say, hey, you give us a list of your past customers, we're going to upload it in. The team uploads it in, the list gets deleted. That's always how we rolled, but in this case now we're bypassing that whole thing and it becomes more safer because it right away is going into the ad accounts. And again, if you were never starting from zero and you're owning your pixel and you're owning your ad account and you're owning your CDP, if you were to leave, it's still yours. It's all yours. It's not us keeping it, taking it, cross promotion. That is not the way we've ever rolled. It never will be, but now it's even more safe.
Amen. And that's, it's, I remember once again, when I was working with you, I was like, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm not going to email it to you because that, I'm just going to do Google. I'm going to send a Google link. And Michael just goes, great. Thank you. I go, it's right. Illegal to do that. He's like, no, I just really appreciate it. You're like my only client that actually sends them in a Google. Don's like, you're welcome. And thank you very much for understanding why I'm doing this. He's like, no problem.
Well, now today it's, hey, we'll give you access to the Facebook account. Upload it in yourself and we'll take it from there type thing. There should be no problems with dealers having access to these things. There's no secret sauce. I'm sorry.
No.
As marketing is strategy and it's understanding the data and using it to tell a story and intentional marketing. There's not the secret sauce that has to be hidden behind this magical curtain. So it's like, let your dealers have access to everything. Teach them along the way, help them understand. I always used to tell the specialist years ago, and I still do today, that client asks me a lot of questions. Well, they're trying to understand. They're not trying to say you don't know what they're doing. They literally are just trying to understand what it is you're doing. Explain, teach them, So I'm a big advocate of that. That.
Oh, yeah. Like anytime that my clients, I'm like, thank you so much for asking. Thank you. Let me show you how to do that. Let me send you a quick video. Right. Let me walk it through because I can show you, but guarantee is you're going to probably forget. It's not because you're not paying attention. Things get busy. There's 18 phones ringing at the same time we're talking. Go back and watch this later on and then ask me if you have more questions. Like, no problem. Let's talk about this at all. I want to end with, before we jump into the amazing lightning round with you, is that what challenges, because there's going to be challenges, you're implementing this, data first, data driven framework. What are some challenges that are going to come along the way? Because they're going to be. And then how can dealerships overcome them?
Your challenges are going to be having all of your vendors communicate with each other, right? Right out of the gate, that's going to be number one. And because it's not everybody wants to play nice in the sandbox with each other. And I get that. Most people that, I would say it's very minuscule now that you have people that don't want to play nice in the sandbox. But it's going to be very important to have somebody at the dealership that's sole purpose is connecting all of these dots.
Yes.
This is not something that you can say, oh, he knows technology, get him involved over here.
You know, BDC manager, they do IT, right? Well, let's put that over to that person. Okay, sure. You're marketing manager, you're IT, do this.
Oh my gosh, we had one client years ago, and the BDC manager was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was like, don't worry, we're going to help you out. It's going to be fine. Like, we'll put you in our learning center. Like, you're going to be the star of the show. It's going to be great. But, you would need like a person who is really going to connect all of these dots. That's where there's going to be a struggle right away. I feel as if it's going to be one of those things where it's, okay, we'll get this, learn it. You need to be, even if you're working with an agency that has their own CDP, right? Which is fine, but really have somebody at the dealership know the ins and outs of it. You have to own it. It's yours. So I think there's going to be struggles there. I think there's always going to be struggles with, different reporting tools telling different stories to an extent. Numbers are not always going to be across the board straight. You and I know that very well, so I think it's important for everybody to study everything and look at everything and then say, okay, well, if my Google Analytics is telling me this, but Facebook is telling me this, but what does the CDP say? I think it's good to look at everything all the time. And I think that we are going to run into aspects where we have people say, well, I have a CDP. Why would I need to look at anything else anymore?
Well, then I will never forget, I was working for a company. And X company had their dashboard and they gave us the report. I checked it because most of like 3 times. I walk into a dealership, present it to the owner, and I got lit up. And I just go, he or she just goes, Brooke, these numbers are not accurate. And I had been promised time and time again by my company, these numbers were accurate. And I never again went in unless, I had triple checked everything, but I just go, okay, so the biggest thing when you have all these different platforms, are they going in the same trajectory? And if it's something that says it's pulling from inventory, if it's pulling from X, Y, and Z, you better damn well know that it is and do your homework to understand that it is. From that point on, I knew that I would always double check to say, okay, if it is in fact, if it says is it pulling from Google Analytics or is it actually pulling from their proprietary dashboard and then pretending to do that? So all these things, okay, they may not actually ever match up, but are they going in the same trajectory? If it's something that says it's pulling for something, go back and check. Because I'll tell you that moment, while yes, I got my ass handed to me on a silver platter, wasn't because I didn't do my homework. I trusted in that company, but I also knew, okay, from this point forward, I'm always going to check stuff and make sure that where is this going? So all of these numbers, it's not just make sure you understand what the report is telling you. Is it a report that's trying to prove a point, or are you working the fact to understand the actual facts of what they're saying? That's really, really true on that. Really, really true.
Yeah.
No. Denise, this has been a fun conversation and a much needed conversation. Oh, yeah. Much needed conversation. All right. With that, Denise.
Okay.
Shut the lightning. Somebody to the lightning round with you. All right. Those that are watching, we've got Denise's personalized link right here. And for those that are listening, how can they get in touch with you? How can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Denise Galiatsatos. You can email me, denise@pcgcompanies.com. I know the last name Galiatsatos is an Apple, but there's only one out there in the automotive industry, and that's me. So you can definitely find me on LinkedIn. It's very easy to find me.
And for those that are watching, and if you're listening to some podcast land, the personalized link will take you to everything Denise. Like anything Denise, you're going to find her. So you're going to find her there. So the name of the show is Facts, Not Feelings. So how are you distinguishing facts from feelings, whether it's in personal life or in your professional life?
Well, so in the professional life, definitely letting the data tell a story, staying away from vanity metrics, right? The facts are going to be, more or less looking at intentional marketing. Like I said, okay, don't come forward with a big budget right out of the gate and be like, we have all this money to spend. Let's be intentional with the marketing dollars, all of that. Also, another way that I really distinguish facts from feelings, and this is like a big thing for leadership out there, is always remind yourself, anybody who leads companies, is there is a difference between a vent and a real concern. That's a big one for me. Because, people do want to vent. I vent all the time. to my husband or to this or to Brian and Glenn. And they're very good about understanding between event and a real concern. And that's something I've learned to do too. But even in leadership roles, really understand the difference between event and a real concern.
And I will tell you that Glenn has been on the receiving end of quite a few event sessions of mine.
He's good with that.
Very much so. So I had put this question in there. I'm going to ask it to you just because I was laughing so hard at the response that you gave me. I was like, so do you have, what do you do in your free time? Like, what are you doing? And I'm just gonna ask you because your answer was so good. So what do you do in your free time? What is a hobby of yours?
And I wrote, what free time? So I have a 3-year-old and a 9-month-old that keep me extremely busy in all the best ways possible. So right now they are my hobby. They are my life. And it's funny because prior to having children, I would travel a lot more. My husband and I did too. I had a really, really great yoga routine, right? I mean, yoga was just like everything and meditation. And you lose a lot of it because, the kids, it's not that it's like, my kids take up all my time. I want them to take up my time. So my children and I, we love to swim. I've got a 3-year-old that swims like you wouldn't believe. The baby has been in the pool since she's 4 months. I get my kids in the pool early, both of them. I started swimming at 4 months old. They love to be outside. We go to the beach and then they love to be with their friends. So, which is so cute, oh my God, the fair was in town last week. Like that's what I'm doing in my free time. Like the time where it's like, we're not working, we're just doing tons of family stuff. We went to the Crayola factory. It was chaotic as all hell, but we can say that we did it. But that basically is, all my time goes to my daughters. I just love them. I love them.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And we'll wrap up with, what is your favorite car? Yeah. And I love that the YouTube video you sent me because I believe it was a Super Bowl commercial. And that's why I was like, speaking of not having free time and taking vacation. So yes, I believe it was a Super Bowl commercial, the YouTube video you sent me.
Yeah. So my mom drove it. My mom had a Cadillac. So it was one of those things where, the Cadillac is just such a cool car. It's an all-American car. I just absolutely love it. And it was one of those things, you want to be like your parents when you grow up. And there's certain levels that your parents are at where you're like, that's successful. So for me, it was always like, I'm going to get a Cadillac. So after my first daughter was born, in 2020, I have a COVID baby. And we bought my first Cadillac and the dealer came to our house and I test drove it in our neighborhood and I had a 5-week-old baby and we bought the car from home and it was in the middle of the pandemic and I am so loyal to that dealership because of that. And they couldn't have been any more accommodating. But prior to that commercial, I just loved that commercial when I first saw it. And I saw that commercial before I even got in the automotive industry about, working hard and, there's some things I don't agree with. I have a very good work-life integration, but that commercial, just like the power behind it. And then it was like Cadillac. It was like, oh yeah, I'm going to drive a Cadillac. Oh,
okay.
Cadillac.
Follow up to that. Do you have a favorite Cadillac?
I have the XT5 currently. Okay. I absolutely love it. It's just the moonroof is fantastic. Everything about it. It drives like a dream. Oh my gosh. When you just turn to get on the highway, I have to come over a bridge to get to my parents' house. They live, up more towards the beach. And it just, it's just the smoothest thing on the planet. I am in market somewhat to upgrade up to the XT6 because these car seats are so big, you wouldn't even believe it. But I just love the Cadillac XT5. I absolutely love it. My mom bought one. My mom got one too. She was like, well, I'm going to get one also.
We're on her, Chris's mom's on her, I think she had an XT5. She's done XT5 and XT6, so she's had both of them. But she loves it, man. Yeah, she loves it.
She likes both of them equally?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's got, I think she's on XT5 right now, but she puts, she's 80, her birthday's in August. I think she's turning 86, but she puts 30,000 miles on her car each year. I mean, she just drives like crazy and she loves it. Loves it. It's a great vehicle. Great vehicle. Awesome. Denise, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure having you on the show. I just, thank you. Everyone, as always, find a way to serve today. Find a way to help your fellow neighbor, your coworker, whoever it may be, whether there's a kind smile, whether that is opening a door for someone, but just find a way to serve today. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.